Hi guys, and welcome back to Captain Brobw's unboxing reviews. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who commented and liked and made some really proactive feedback on my first video. Secondly, I'd also like to apologise at the length of time it's taken me to get another video out there. Unfortunately, I do still have a full-time job and it does take up quite a bit of my time alongside other commitments outside of work and this project. So apologies it's taken me so long to do this video. Hopefully you'll enjoy the content, and stay tuned. I will be bringing more videos, hopefully within a couple of weeks of each other, but again, just appreciate a bit of patience whilst I obviously have to do the recordings, the editing, the scripts, everything myself. It is very much a one-man band. So without further ado, here is an unboxing review of the Raijintek Juno Pro RBW heatsink fan. So here it is, the Raijintek Juno RBW heatsink fan. As you can see from the exterior packaging here, Raijintek are wasting no time in advertising the product artwork. As you can see here, they're really advertising the RBW or rainbow effect lighting around the rim of the fan, and they've got some great artwork of it installed in a system as well, which is good to see. You've then got some fairly basic installation instructions along one side of the box with Intel along the top and AMD along the bottom. On the flip side of this, you've then got some product specifications, including CPU type compatibility with Intel along the top and AMD along the bottom. For Intel, this product is compatible with LGA 775, 115X and 1366 CPU sockets. Unfortunately, it doesn't list LGA 2011 and 2011 version 3 as a compatible socket. You then got the major AMD socket types of 754, 939, 940 and AM2 right the way through to the current generation of AM4, which is great. You've then got some basic specifications on the heatsink fan itself and the actual fan specifications as well. This is a nice touch to see these actually printed on the side of a box, so if you were picking this product off a shelf, you'll be able to see that. Inside the box we have some fairly basic packaging, thin layer of polystyrene, just protecting the product from top impact. The product then sits loose inside the box, which is a shame. There's no other dampening packaging to stop that from moving around. You then have a Intel mounting bracket, and you have some pins and plugs along with a little bit of thermal material, and that's to mount the Intel bracket there and for your chosen CPU. You then have another thin layer of polystyrene to protect the base of the box, and that is it, folks. There is nothing else inside that box. It is fairly sparsely packaged, so I can see this being damaged in transit if not taken care of. Product specifications in terms of width and depth are 122.5mm and 66mm in height. It uses the same AMD clamping mechanism, which has been around for years, and this is obviously used as well on the Intel mounting bracket. You then have a standard 4-pin fan header for your motherboard, which will control the fan speed. And then curiously, you find a switch where I would typically expect an RGB or ARGB header to control that rainbow effect lighting. So it'd be interesting to see what this switch actually does and how this will affect the lighting. You then have a sequence of aluminium fins which connect to a solid aluminium base for the heatsink, and this is obviously in a flower arrangement, very much akin to a former Zalman product years ago. This is the Intel mounting bracket, and it is fairly easy to mount this to a Intel bracket, or motherboard should I say. It's literally a case of aligning the mounting holes and plugs, which I'm doing a poor job of advertising here, but it basically just slide into rails and then push in, and the pin then secures it to the board. Fairly robust, relatively straightforward to install and remove, although I did find removing them quite tricky, so just bear that in mind. So that's pretty much the Intel mounting socket and the pins in order to do that. Fine, we'll just look at the quick fan specifications before we move on. The product is rated for 105 watts TDP, so just bear that in mind, and the 120mm fan here is surrounded by the rainbow effect LEDs which align to the rim. The fan speed goes up to, I believe, around about 1800 RPM and is rated for 28 to 32 decibels in noise level, so just bear that in mind that this product will spin up and make quite a decent amount of noise once it's at full load. Anyway, that's enough jibber jabber. Let's get this product installed and see what it looks like on a little test bench I've just thrown together. So here you can see the product installed on a mini ITX system. As you can see, I've run into some clearance issues here with the memory bowing out and the inability so far to install a graphics card of any potential or even suitable height. This is definitely going to be something you're going to watch out for, or you're going to need to watch out for, especially if you're building a mini ITX or micro ATX and even ATX system. In addition to this, the product provides relatively lackluster lighting in the sense that the switch provided literally just turns the lighting on and off, as demonstrated. So there we have it, guys and girls, the unboxing review of the Raijintek Juno Pro RBW heatsink fan. Overall, not a bad product, but not a great product either. There definitely are some serious drawbacks with this product, and I do think, in my own opinion, that the drawbacks outweigh the positives of utilising this product, especially in small form factor systems. To cover those off in a quick summary, the main drawback has to be the lighting controls. As you saw from my video, the lighting controls are incredibly lackluster. It is just an on-off switch mounted into the wiring of the cooler itself. Raijintek have really missed a trick here. I think they've really missed the opportunity to capitalise on the RGB and ARGB connectors that are on fan controllers and motherboards themselves, and they could have easily created a product which had that control and connector built in. So that's definitely one drawback in my opinion. On the flip side of that, however, if you do have an older motherboard, ironically like the one I tested it on, then that's probably acceptable for you, but just bear in mind that to turn that lighting on and off, if you wanted to, you'd have to open up the case and toggle that switch, unless you found a way to mount it and mod it to the exterior of your chassis. The other more serious drawback, and it's the one that frustrated me the most, was the clearance issues of this product. Now, nowhere on Raijintek's documentation in terms of the box itself, or even on their website, do they make any reference to the clearance issues that you may encounter with this product. Granted, all products have specific dimensions, and it is up to you in some instances to determine how those dimensions are going to affect the product that you purchase and how you integrate that into your system. That being said, with the fact that they've made absolutely no references to the fact that this may impact GPU and RAM clearances on your motherboard, and whatever size motherboard you may undertake and utilize, is a real concern for me. Now, granted, I didn't show it on the video, but I did have a chance to test this on an ATX motherboard, an X370 motherboard, and despite the size of that motherboard, I still had some clearance issues. Now, depending on how your motherboard is designed and made up in terms of the VRAM heatsinks, the memory layout, the PCIe slots layout and positioning, you may or may not have additional issues. Granted, on the ATX board I tested it on, I still had memory clearance issues, and that was mainly down to the height of the memory more than anything. Although there was a decent amount of clearance for the VRAM heatsinks on the side of the motherboard, the actual height of the memory was the main concern, and even with low profile memory I still hit a clearance issue. So that is definitely something to worry about. And just for reference sake, the product itself is nearly 122 millimeters in width and length, and in height it's 66 millimeters. Anything above, I believe, 33 millimeters and your memory is going to have some issues in terms of its clearance with this product. So that basically means any large heat spreaders, anything with RGB lighting, or just tall memory in general is definitely going to clash with this product, and it has to be something significantly lower in profile than even some low profile memory out there. So it's definitely something to watch out for, and it's mainly down to not only just the metal and aluminium like flower configuration of the cooler, it's also the plastic shroud that secures the fan that also causes the problem. That being said, these are drawbacks. You are going to get them, but unfortunately you are going to have to do the legwork, because it looks like Raijintek aren't going to provide you that information. I am actually going to reach out to Raijintek about this and see what they say about this matter, and if they're actually going to bother to update their website to reflect these issues. I do know that I have seen an alternate product to this one. It is the exact same design. I don't know if it is an alternate revision of this product, but it does have an ARGB header. So I don't know if this is a first revision that I've got and there's been a subsequent second or third revision, but I will find out and I will let you know in the comments in the coming weeks. What I will also highlight is that there is a nigh-on identical product by Thermaltake called the UX100. That's actually been reviewed by Mike in Mike's unboxing review, so I do recommend that you give that video a watch. I will also highlight that I will also be picking one of those up to see if there's any comparisons between Mike's review and my own, and see what I think of that product, and if some of the drawbacks that I've highlighted with this product have also been replicated into the Thermaltake product as well. They're the downsides. Every product's going to have at least some negative points. Nothing is perfect, unfortunately. That being said, on the positive side, this product is a doddle to install. It uses the AMD clamping mechanism. Even with the Intel mounting bracket, it uses the same mechanism, and installing and uninstalling that bracket and installing this product is a real easy task. It's not difficult in the slightest, so a novice PC builder will really get quite a quick enjoyment in terms of upgrading their cooling by utilising this. In addition to this, it should provide some tasteful lighting effects if you're just after that, but without the control into your system, especially if you want to upgrade from the reference CPU cooler that comes with AMD and Intel coolers. So it's definitely something to consider on that basis. The product is rated for 105 TDP. Granted, I would probably suggest that this might struggle with a Ryzen 7, Ryzen 9, or even an Intel i7 or i9 processor. That being said, until I can get you those figures and that testing data, I can't say that conclusively, but it's definitely something to bear in mind. Other benefits, definitely the quietness of the product is actually quite apparent. I did test this quickly on a Ryzen 7 1800X and it was whisper quiet. Granted, that was just under idle conditions, so I didn't get a chance to ramp it up. I will highlight that when the RPM is ramped up, you will notice it. Whether or not you'll notice that within a case, I was in an open test bench, it is unclear at this point, but it is relatively whisper quiet when under normal operation, so definitely something to watch out for. So that's the Raijintek Juno Pro RBW, or Rainbow, heatsink fan. Hopefully this unboxing reviews give you an overview of the product and some of the positives and some of the negatives of its design and implementation. As I said, I am going to go back to Raijintek and just see what they say about some of the points that I've highlighted, and if they're going to provide me with any feedback concerning that. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see future content, please hit that subscribe button. Granted, if you didn't like this unboxing review, please give it a thumbs down, and please provide me some feedback. I would really appreciate that. Until next time, thanks for watching, and this is Captain Obvious signing off.